Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Red Dirt Rods. Now, it's been a minute since you've seen the MGB GT, but here it is. We've got it back in the shop. We're getting ready to go hog wild on this thing. We're gonna get a ton of stuff done today. But you've seen a lot of the car. We've got it running, drove it around the drift track, had some fun with it. But now you're gonna get to see everything that's wrong with this thing. So check this out. So first, we've got all of this rust. Now we showed you a little bit of this in our intro video, but this rocker panel is gonna get replaced today. This section of the quarter, plus the upper section of the wheel lip. And then we're gonna take a step underneath it. The rear roll pan is dented up. We've got a little hole under here. Now you might think this is rust. It actually isn't. This is where a previous owner had welded a tow bar and it tore. So we're just gonna repair that and repair all this structure. But underneath, the car is actually really clean. Sure, it's got some road grime and whatnot, but it's all in good shape for the most part. We've got a couple of interesting things. So the battery is currently located in the trunk and the original battery box is down here underneath. And instead of replacing this wire, somebody just decided to extend it, which is absolutely terrible. I am really glad that I found this because that's just live right there. So we're gonna replace all of this, get this all fixed up nice. We're gonna be completely rewiring this car here shortly, but got the exhaust. This exhaust is tiny. We're gonna get rid of this and get a nice little performance exhaust going in here. But the bulk of the work on the car today is gonna be rust repair. So this is the external floor support. It's in really good shape for the most part, but it is getting some rust right here in the corners, and the front section where the rocker panel was worse is really bad. So this whole thing will get replaced. We've got new jack supports. That's gonna get replaced. And then over here on the passenger side, this jack support has clearly been abused and it's completely destroyed, so we're gonna replace that. We've got a small section back here that we're gonna replace. And up front, this one is in pretty good shape, but again, we've got some rust forming on the outside here, and this is all rust starting to form, and this section is completely gone. So it's really bad up here, and it's starting back here, so you know that this whole section, we might replace this whole piece, we might just replace a section. We'll figure that out once we get into it. Everything else is actually in pretty good shape. Sure, it might be a little greasy, might be a little oily, but it's in pretty good shape. Let's take a look at the passenger side. One of the biggest problems with MGs is that by the time you see rust on the outside, the inner structure is already rotten. So we've got rust bubbles here. This whole section will need to get cut out and replaced. We're gonna replace this rocker panel as well. It's rusted out here. We've got some bubbles here, and we've got some bubbles here. I'm pretty sure that the inside structure is probably pretty rotten, so we're gonna replace that. And there's some Bondo here on this front fender, so I know we're gonna have to replace some of that. Once we get all of that work done, then structurally the car is gonna be in really good shape. So all the parts that are going onto our MGB GT, which this is a 1967 model by the way, all of our parts came from Moss Motors. Really happy that they decided to work with us on this project. They make great parts. We've got some excellent sheet metal over here that I'm really happy with. A lot of times reproduction sheet metal is not very accurate. I've done a lot of sheet metal work. Sometimes you have to completely reform the panels, but this stuff looks really good. So these are our parts that we've got from Moss Motors. Like this is our rear valance. This is our front valance. This is the rear tail panel. These are our fin quarter panel sections. These are our front panel sections that we're going to replace. We did get some damage from shipping, but that's not a big deal. So this is our right-hand castle section is what this is called. This is the outer floor support. So this goes up underneath the car, I think, yeah, like, which way to go? This goes up underneath the car like this, and this supports the floor. And this is really nice, heavy, sturdy metal. It's not flimsy like a lot of reproduction parts are. I am bringing in a ringer today. I'm bringing in one of my old friends, Justin Johnson, who is a body man by trade. He comes in and helps me sometimes when we have big jobs. He's coming in to help us with the body work. I'll introduce you to him in just a minute. Before we get any further, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you see something you like, if you see something you completely disagree with, make sure you leave a comment. Those help us. They give us feedback so we can make our videos better so that you can do it for your projects. Go ahead and drop the car down. We're going to take some of the interior stuff out so we have better access to everything. We're going to work on this on the lift. Gives us easier access so we don't have to bend over and hurt our backs. This car is really half put together. I don't really care about the seats or the seat brackets because they're not staying. Every bit of that's coming out. I'm noticing that the seat rails are barely installed in this vehicle. There's like one screw or one bolt on each one. So we're pulling these out. So we're pulling all these pieces. I'm not putting the original seats back in this car. We've got a set of custom seats that we got from TMI Products. So we're going to be using those. So one of the things that I always try to stress to people is when you're working on a car, especially when you're taking it apart for the first time, it's always a good idea to take a lot of pictures so that you know how everything goes together. You got a cell phone with a camera, you might as well use it. Hey everybody, I want to introduce you to Justin. This is Justin Johnson, longtime friend, and he's a professional body man, and he helps me out when I have a lot to tackle. And he's got some words he'd like to say about some of this material.
Oh, I'm just impressed at how thick this is. It's not going to warp when you're welding. I mean, to be completely honest, this stuff is thicker, nicer than what's going on today's cars and trucks.
So, like I said, we got this from Moss Motors. This is a Steelcraft panel, and it is made in England. I'm suspecting this is made off the original tooling because it is really nice, good quality stuff. And if it's not made off the original tooling, whoever made it did a good job. So, okay, so this is the passenger side inner sill, and what we've got, so this, you've got your rocker panel outside here, your door opens that way, your rocker panel's outside here, and then you've got your interior sill, and this is in between. So you can't see this once it's installed because the inner sill from the vehicle and the outer rocker panel cover this, so we don't know if this is rotten or not, but we're going to find out. I probably, I'd say let's just take the hinges out. That way we can see if there's anything behind there, and it'll also be easier to put the doors back on.
Pull the seat. Yep. Oh, that's no Cadillac seat right there. Like wiggle and pull.
Okay.
It's like a twist wiggle pull.
Okay.
And I will say, if we don't get all this done today, I will have like a arsenal of tools that I'll bring out based off of what we're looking at. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think there's any chance we're going to get that.
No. I know. But I'm just saying in general. Good job.
I'm like, all right.
amount of heat that's on this bolt is hilarious.
Probably making it worse.
Oh my god. Look at that.
Since we've got that front balance, I kind of want to just delete the bumpers altogether.
I kind of feel it
was
sweet really good. What is British Leyland?
British Leyland is basically MG, Austin, all of those British car manufacturers. They were all kind of under one umbrella, or the most common ones were under, not all of them, but so this is MG, and then in the late 60s they started putting British Leyland badges on everything. It's kind of similar to GM with Buick, Chevy, GMC, etc., but it's a little bit different than that. There we go. Okay, ready? Got it?
Yep.
There is a bolt at the top of the fender inside the cowl that's running at about a 45-degree angle to the fender. It's in an awkward place. It's shrouded, so you can't really get to it with a ratchet or a socket from the underside. But if you pull the gas gauge, you can take a long extension and go through and get to it, and it's really ignorant. Okay,
Guess
so
what that is? That's your rocker. Yay! It was rotted. Good purchase.
I'm trying to. There it goes. We might as well go right across here. That fixes this. That gives us access to any of this inner.
This also separates right here. So I wonder what that is. Because I'm not going to be able to cut. Is that a lip panel?
Yeah.
Or is it just a hem? Yes,
no,
it is.
A lip. That's a lip, see?
Yep.
So this is
I'm
above.
gonna have to remove that. Or not? Yeah.
I think you can. I think if you section this out, you can pull.
Well, I still have to drill those because look, this stops right there. You know how that goes?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh no, it's gonna stay below it. But if it stays below it, you see what I'm saying?
You'll have to take the spot welds out here because this goes up.
Yep. This is gonna be your front right there.
Okay. Yeah. So this does just barely ride along.
Yep.
But just barely. It stops about here.
But even if I have to just let that out straight off, that's nothing. That's a stitch weld that. All right, cool. Well, we're getting a better game plan each time we look at it and talk about it. So. I'll say this though. Now that we know what we're getting into, I am going to grab a plethora of my tools and I'll show back up. Look at that. What color are we painting this?
I don't actually know. I haven't thought about it.
Wow.
We're at the point now where
There's like an inner panel and it's just rusted.
yeah. Well, that's not an inner panel. That's a patch.
So when you say, are we sectioning it?
Yeah, we're definitely.
That's insane. Oh, it is a patch. I see it now. Look at that.
Yeah, I see that too.
That's
But
sweet.
I think that's
No, that's factory.
that's factory.
That's like, look at your section piece.
Which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
So what they do? Let it?
But it's not sectioned here. This is all one piece. That's one piece all the way here. I don't know what that is. I don't understand that.
That looks like they poked some holes and added their filler and then capped it. Yep, they sure did. Your inner wheelhouse actually seems like, well, yes, it's got some discoloration, but that's solid. Feel that bad boy.
No, it's pretty solid. That's pretty solid, and it stops right here. The inner stops right here.
Yep, goes straight down. So even if you're missing a little bit, just you're gonna put some rust converter on that to stop. Yeah. But I mean, these are the bones. You can't have panels that line up if you. It's so flimsy. You shut the door and a little bit of the car falls off each time.
That's terrible. It rutted out here.
Rut it out.
It rotted out here. It's rotted out here. It's rotted out there.
Welds, rottenness there.
Just here. It'll come out. Just take it out. Just do that. Yeah. Just do it. We'll have to fix that inner anyways.
You see how it immediately took shape though? It's like back sturdy. I bet it almost fits.
So here's the section of our quarter that we had to take off. I just want to point out, one, this is way too many spot welds for this. I mean, you should have a spot weld every 3 or 4 inches. It should really be about 8 spot welds, maybe 10 for this whole section. Instead, we have like 20 plus. But you'll also notice there's not a ton of space here for debris to get, but all of these spot welds weaken the metal and they invite rust because you can't get in here and paint the backside of it. Back in the 60s, they didn't really have things like weld through coating like we do now. What you would do today is spray this with weld through coating, then do your weld, and that zinc in the weld through coating will help protect the backside of the weld so that it doesn't rust like this. This is ridiculous. That's just
rude. That's just rude, dude.
It is. It's overkill, and it created the problem. So this is basically poorly overbuilt. So it's like, hey, we're going to make this look like it's built really well, so we're going to put 40,000 spot welds in here, and in reality, that's making it worse.
Yeah.
But I bet, because they don't have such a great reputation in these cars.
And actually today, almost every quarter that's going on is a glued and hemmed edge because the glue is a corrosion resistant itself. So, had we not turned that into Swiss cheese, I mean, glue and hemming is the way to go.
So what we're going to do, once we clean all this up and we're ready to go back with our quarter panel, we're not sectioning this area out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this Eastwood internal frame coating, and these come with this little hose. So you put this on the can, and then this gets stuck all the way down in here. So I can just fog this full, and it's just going to soak all the way down in here. And I'll spray it as I pull it out. So it just fogs all of that with, basically what this does is it encapsulates the rust, it kills it, encapsulates it, and seals it off so that it won't continue to rust. We'll need to inspect. There's a little bubble there, but why would you design your rocker panel this way?
It's because there's no intrusion beam in those doors. Look inside these doors. Well, you got trim panels on. These bigger cars have intrusion beams in them. That's what protects you in the event of being T-boned.
No, I get you there.
You can't get that out of this. It's got to be here. It's got to be there. Just like a truck.
Yeah, but if you get T-boned in this thing, the vehicle's going through here anyways, because this is so low.
You're right, however,
Granted,
the
you know,
lawsuit may not come back on you at that point.
but back then,
Yeah.
all the cars were this size. Big old can. And I knew it was gonna be, but I was hoping it wouldn't be as bad, but it's bad.
So you do one or two things. You stop filming, pull this off, put in your panels in the beat, scab it together.
Nah, that's-
It wouldn't be right.
No, we're going to do that.
No, we're gonna do it right. But I'm saying, like, I don't know what you're doing right here. Because if you don't replace that whole inner, someone's gonna comment on it, that's scabbing it together. If you don't take a wire wheel and remove all this rust, that's technically scabbing it together. That's basically like you saw the cancer and you decided to do plastic surgery over it.
I don't know about that. I mean, somebody may say that, but the reality is,
We're doing this to it. That's what I want to do.
the reality is that rust encapsulator will kill all.
It really will,
And
but
it works really well, and that's how we're doing this. This isn't,
so what are we doing here?
yeah,
It is pretty stout.
it is solid.
So here's what we're gonna do. Let's get a piece of scrap metal. Go on the back side of that. Plug and plug. That way I get my curve right. And then I'll cut a piece to fit that. And then I'll stitch it. That way I got a solid piece. Or actually I could just get a piece of scrap metal from there to there. And that little, what, 60? I had 30 seconds looking at it really. From there to there. Having this, you see what I'm saying?
I mean, if I was,
I don't want to leave this open.
no, it's not going to stay open.
No, what I'm saying
But
is,
from here to here,
yeah.
we just cut a piece that with a how much do we need? An inch, a 1 inch tail.
Yeah.
Okay, we cut. You're gonna have a half inch break. So we cut an inch and a half. We shear an inch and
It
a half.
doesn't even matter if you get your break wrong, as long as you're long. Because when
Yeah.
you go to lift that back,
Yeah.
you take a grinder and smooth the two
Yeah,
up.
that's what I'm saying. So we do. That's
And
what I'm saying.
actually
we do a
it gives
half
me
inch.
something solid to weld to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We do a half inch. We do basically an inch and a half piece of 18 gauge. Break it at an inch and a half inch,
Shrink this
and then
area.
we shrink it. Well, that would actually be a stretch. So we would stretch
Oh,
it.
it would be.
Yeah, we stretch it to match that curve, and that's all we need. Then we wire wheel all this. We clean it up. We take care of that. And
So hem on bottom, make an end you stretch. Hem on bottom, or I guess break on bottom, to make a end you stretch, you shrink. See? Break on the bottom, you flat, stretch,
stretch.
shrink. Right?
We don't need to shoot.
No, we're not. I'm asking. This is a
What
letter.
what do we ask?
So, if you build your little L, right? It looks like this. And it's a straight piece. And to make an end out of it, you would stretch it.
Yes.
You gotta keep the
Yes.
break on the bottom. And to make a U, you would shrink.
Yes, yes, it is. And you.
And
Now
you.
I follow you. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and
it.
then you'll do a little bit of shrinking on this side to get, because there's it's a real subtle crown, but you
That's
honestly might not even need
That's
it.
what hammer and dolly while it's hot is for.
Yeah, I don't know that across this section. Well, I mean it's real subtle, but we could do. In reality, we could just fab that whole piece, and that way it's fresh the whole way around, and it's not that much more work.
If you want to make that,
I'll make that.
I won't be sad at all.
Yeah, I can
I'll
make that.
weld it in.
I'll make that.
Because that's going to help tremendous.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's
And
I feel like
bet
that's
we're
the right
running
way to do
the
it.
same thing over there.
Oh, 100%.
So,
And the other side we have.
and you
the
can
full
see
quarter.
it really does. I know you got rust coloring.
That's mostly for dirt.
That really does.
Where's that? Here.
It really is only that inch.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad.
It really isn't.
It's literally just right here. The rest of this is solid.
Maybe for fun, make it 2 inches.
That makes it difficult to stretch. Yeah, because your jaws are only so thick, so deep, I should say. So if you're stretching here, then you're gonna start. You'll get some funky kinks. Because it'll start, instead of stretching the bottom side, it'll start bowing out, and it won't do the thing that you want to do.
And
not with my stretcher. If I had a really deep set
how
of
deep is
stretcher,
your jaw? Just like 2 inches, or like an inch?
like a I mean that's inches. I mean that's about what I think that's about what it is. What it is.
All right.
Let's make magic.